sack. It might be one guy getting the sack, but it's everybody else's effort that gets him the sack.
Huh? Come on, speak that.
I was just talking about you.
Yeah? What'd you say?
Yeah, I said, he asked me how easy Mike John was that you get in sacks, so
right.
I told him it was pretty easy.
Oh yeah, man. Hey, we gonna take care of each other now. It's my boy you got. You know, you brought him to the right place. He gonna eat, I'm gonna eat, we all gonna eat. All right? Hey, keep that interview up.
Oh yeah.
Boise bros.
Good times are happening in the locker room again.
Keep that energy.
We like
The
it.
post-win energy.
Post-win energy. We're still riding it here on Cover 4. It is Tuesday. Dave, Taylor, and Jesse, we've got good things for you. We're dishing out awards. We are a quarter away through the season, so let's get right to them. Dave, kick off.
I can't get over this quote from Jerry Jones this morning. He said when Brett Maher was lining up for the game winner against Detroit, Stephen Jones told him, you know, if he misses, we got to go to South America, right? Like, we got to get the hell out of Dallas, which I understand. I'm glad Brett Maher made the kick, but I know we got a following in Brazil and Argentina. Like, that sounds like a fun trip to me. Maybe we could play a game there. I don't know. I'm about it, though. South America. Let's go.
Speaking of kickers, Adam Vinatieri is now alone in the history books as he has made 567 field goals. That is amazing. So Brett Maher only needs 560 to catch up. I think he can do it this season, right, guys?
All in one game.
All in one game.
Touchdowns.
Well, we welcome David Irvin back into the building, and we need him more than ever right now. Deshaun Watson, the quarterback for the Houston Texans, he's kind of finding his stride right now, averaging 360 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 40 yards rushing over his last 3 games. So, David Irvin, I hope you're in shape, man, because you got to chase this guy down.
Woo-woo. Adding to the Hot Boys, is he automatically in, or does he have to work his way?
Ooh, I feel like they'll kind of make him earn it a little bit.
Nah,
he
I
wasn't
think
there at
it's
training camp.
Automatic status.
Yeah.
Taco did post, my brother's back.
7 sacks in 8 games gives you automatic
You're
status.
a hot
It's like
boy.
you could
All
come
right.
home from being locked up. You're back in the family.
Yeah,
It's like
yeah.
he's been out. He's back now.
Back in the family, back to our grades, awards, whatever you want to call them. We are a quarter of the way through. Taylor, you are giving out our first one, and it's the Unsung Hero Award.
The Unsung Hero, yes, this one is going to Joe Looney. I have to give it to him because he's been fine. Now, I say that because he is replacing someone who was great. Travis Frederick, that's a hard void to fill, and Joe Looney is doing his job. I think he had his best performance against Sylvester Williams this past week with the Lions. We saw him on some pretty funny plays with Zeke. I'm liking what I'm seeing from the big fella, and he's stepping in and doing a
Way to
job.
go, Joe Looney. Through 4 weeks, we are proud of you, big fella. I'm up next. I have the War Daddy Award, which Jerry Jones has said this team needs one. And DeMarcus Lawrence, you took this one away so easily for us. Career high 3 sacks last week, leading the league with 5.5 in front of Khalil Mack. That's always got to be a good thing, right, guys?
Yes.
DeMarcus Lawrence couldn't be off to a better start. They're going to have to find a way to pay this league leader in sacks next year. We got to make it happen. War Daddy Award, we are so proud of you. D-Law. Dave, what do you have?
It's amazing the difference that winning and losing has on a team. Like, would you guess that Ezekiel Elliott is on pace for a better season than he had in 2016?
No.
I would not. He's on pace for 1,700 yards, 1,650 as a rookie. It's amazing. And he's doing it on fewer carries. He is having the type of season that we thought he would have. He's actually on pace, for all my complaining about the passing game, he's on pace for 500 receiving yards too. Like, the guy is unbelievable. He is playing MVP, Offensive Player of the Year caliber, all that good stuff. He looks like it. It's funny that, you know, if this team was 3-1 or 4-0, we would be talking about it a lot more. But don't let the record fool you. This guy is balling out. It's unbelievable.
2,100 yards, total yards, should be the number for Zeke Elliott.
He's on pace
Honestly,
for 22.
For like the next 4 or 5 years
Yeah,
of his career.
absolutely.
Absolutely.
That was
Making his
our most
case.
likely to eat award. And now, Jesse, you have our rising star. Who is it?
Well, we just saw him and we're coming in, and it's Leighton Vander Esch, the young fellow, the young kid from Boise State. With the absence of Sean Lee, Leighton Vander Esch has really stepped in and stepped up. 22 tackles he has this season. He's a 6'5" athletic tackling machine with long arms and speed. He is moving sideline to sideline. The injection of youth on this defensive side, especially in this linebacker core, has truly solidified this defense. Now, there are still some holes, but Leighton Vander Esch is not one that we have to worry about plugging up.
I like it.
Our final award is the most improved, Dave, and I know Cowboys fans have got to be ecstatic about this one.
He was just on that tackle.
Yeah, well, it feels mean to say he's improved because he was a starter last year. Byron Jones was a fine safety.
This is a new position.
He looks like an incredible cornerback.
Woo!
Number one receivers against this defense are averaging 60 yards per game. You don't remember talking about Odell Beckham. I know Golden Tate had a fantastic game on Sunday. Wasn't against Byron. This dude is locking people down. Would love to see him get some picks, get some hands on some footballs, but he is an outstanding cover corner. He has been phenomenal every single week of this.
It's got to happen soon, right?
They got to get picks, but that is a nitpick on how he's playing.
Okay, so you mentioned that. We do have honorable mentions we want to give out today because we couldn't give everyone an award. So Brett Maher, Chris Richard, and Chidobe Awuzie have our honorable mentions today.
Absolutely. I think we have to give it to Brett Maher first and foremost. The guy is stepping in for number 5. That's also not easy to do. We talked about Joe Looney. We talked about Leighton Vander Esch, but Brett Maher, he has had the rough start at Carolina, and now he's showing it. And then, of course, Dave, you just brought up Cheeto. He had kind of a bad game.
I'm glad we're shouting out Cheeto. He's had some tough luck games here, where like the coverage has been good.
Man,
still giving up some receptions.
It's been great.
You're right. No, it has.
Up great reception.
Absolutely. Great. Watch the tape. He's playing great. This cornerback duo is really.
And it all is
really
because
exciting.
of Chris Richard.
Yeah, no, shouts out, Chris.
It ties up nicely.
All right, we'll do grades again through 8 games probably, but for now we're going to take a break. We mentioned David Irving coming back. What does that mean? How soon will we see him? That's next.
Please, we're going to win on 3. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Hey Dallas Cowboys fans, I'm Danny Surek at the AT&T Media Center. The Cowboys are preparing for Sunday's game against the Houston Texans for the Governor's Cup. This will be the first time since 2014 that the teams will meet in a regular season game. It will be the first time since 2010 that they will play in a regular season game following a preseason game. In this year's preseason game, the Cowboys fell to the Texans 14-6. Stay tuned to Cover 4 to hear how the Cowboys plan to switch the outcome of the game.
How will history define us?
The perfect size?
Perfect hair?
Every box checked?
No. We set the tone. We are works of art.
Who we are is not defined by what they say, but by what we create.
The legacy we build.
Fire in our souls.
We are strong.
We are unstoppable.
We
are Cowboys fans.
All right, Dade County in the house. Let's go, let's go.
This is the Hot Boys?
These are the Hot Boys.
Hot Boys?
Slap hands, slap hands, slap hands.
Hot Boy,
Slap hands. Sauce, what's happening?
I better wait. It's so hot. It's so hot.
Come on, Randy, my young boy.
Randy?
DT, my old head.
Let's go, baby.
DJ Duff.
We are big fans of Gary Brown here on
That's hilarious.
running back coach for the Dallas Cowboys. Guys, we are going to give you a little scouting report as we move in to the next quarter of our season. And you are up first, Dave. What have you found out? I know you were digging through the film today.
Here's what I found out. I don't understand how the Houston Texans are 1-3. Like, it doesn't make a lick of sense to me. Deshaun Watson averaging 311 yards per game with a quarterback rating of 93 through the first month. His defense, we talk about DeMarcus Lawrence with 5.5. J.J. Watt's right there, second best in the league with 5 sacks. You got Clowney. You got Whitney Merciless. You got Tyrann Mathieu. You got Nuke Hopkins. Like, they could be 0-4, and they almost were. They almost lost in overtime the other day. I would still be terrified of this game. Going on the road, there's a lot of talent on this roster. I would not take them lightly.
And what's crazy is the Houston fans, a player I believe this week said that they treat this like their Super Bowl.
Oh, yeah.
They play the Cowboys.
Yeah.
It's a big
It's like a big rivalry.
For them.
I'm trying, yeah, exactly.
For them.
That is
For them.
Okay, next up, scouting report. I have the Jacksonville Jaguars, who are 3-1 on the season. They could easily be 4-0. They lost 9-6 to Tennessee in a weird one. But this week they're going to Arrowhead Stadium, and we all know about the Patrick Mahomes.
Showtime!
It's not showtime.
Over. So we'll see what happens when
showtime.
that offense takes its toll on the #1 defense in the league, Jacksonville Jaguars. That's next up after Dave's Houston game. So, I don't know. I'm always scared of Jacksonville defense, that is.
Yep.
Next up, Jesse, the Redskins. We gave you this one because you have experience with this team.
Here's the thing about the Redskins. They're 2-1 right now, coming off a bye. And this team, led by Alex Smith, they don't have many weapons offensively. They got the old man in the backfield, Adrian Peterson, who's kind of found his stride again. He's probably averaging about 90-something yards a game rushing. When you play the Washington Redskins, the New York Giants, and the Philadelphia Eagles, throw records out the window, throw how you're playing out the window, it's going to be a slug fest between those two teams. But this team is one of those teams who are right now leading the division, even though they were on a bye last week. It can be a scary team. This is the team we cannot sleep on.
Nope.
Ever, I would say. All right, Taylor, after the Redskins, Cowboys taking on the Titans in Week 9.
Yeah, I was just going to say that's a team you can't sleep on because right now they're 3-1 and they did beat the Jacksonville Jaguars. Right now it looks like Marcus Mariota, their quarterback, he has his swagger back. They have young pass rushers. They have Dion Lewis, who they've given a new life to in the running game. And guys, Corey Davis, a great receiver for them. But the scariest person to me on this team is Mike Vrabel. This guy right there, he is a gunslinger with his calls. He is not conservative, and the team is loving it. They love the confidence he has in them, and that might just be a little bit scary Week 9.
The way they were going for it on 4th down and overtime today was impressive.
Did you see that post-game speech, too? It's
And that
fiery.
goes a long way with players in the locker room. When you have a coach that trusts you and go for it on 4th down multiple times, players, they buy into that, and that way you can get them to run through the wall for you even more.
The Philly special.
Well said, Jess. Sound off for you guys today. The big news, obviously, David Irving is coming back. But what impact do you expect him to have this week, Week 5?
I know these guys are going to give you the analysis of what he'll be able to do on the field. Prior to that, Jerry Jones was talking about he's just ready to see him be physically ready to compete due to the fact he was not in training camp. He hasn't been here.
A long time.
And that's the thing. I did get a look at him today at training table. We're lucky to be here at the Star. I couldn't really tell exactly. He's kind of just in regular street clothes, but his hair is on point, so be ready for that.
His hair is always on point. Like, Jess, you tell me, man, because he had 2 sacks in his first game back from a suspension last year, but he was at training camp. He was practicing. This dude hasn't practiced for real. Okay, mini camp, whatever. That's short.
That doesn't even count.
It doesn't count. He hasn't practiced or played in a real football game since last November. Is it even realistic to think he can do something this week?
Yeah, it is, and here's why. Because we're not looking for him to do all of everything in the game this Sunday. We're looking for him to do pieces of a game this Sunday. So getting him in a rotation, only playing certain plays, maybe 3rd downs, maybe some rush situations. What you have is a 6'7", 6'8" athletic guy who can create mismatches on the inside. So now you put him, Randy, and Tank, and Crawford all at the same time. You talk about TEs and switches and all that kind of stuff. He doesn't have to have the whole load on his back, but just pieces of the game plan.
15 snaps?
That's perfect.
Oh, 15.
That could be all 3rd
Roger
downs.
Nelly, that's exactly
I can live with
his
that.
plan.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we are out of time for today. So, Jess, sending it back down to you for OT.
Jerry Jones was on the Fan this morning, and one of the questions was asked about him saying that Tony Romo was going to be in the Hall of Fame during Tony Romo's football life. Now, I am a personal fan of Tony Romo and a personal fan of Jerry Jones. And I know a lot of people are going to say there's far other people who may have more accolades or championships or winning percentages, whatever, that belong in the Ring of Honor, before Tony Romo. But there is a love between those two that is like no other. I'm a fan of Tony Romo. He holds all the statistical records for quarterbacking here for the Dallas Cowboys. So when he's enshrined to the Ring of Honor at Cowboy Stadium, I'm just glad I'll be in attendance.
I'm happy for you. I'm also happy that Bryce Butler is back here. He tweeted today that he got stopped for another ticket. He said that he has to get used to the traffic culture, but hey, that's just the speed I like to see in our receivers.
We alluded to this earlier in the show. Showtime Mahomes. Joe Tessitore, Monday Night Football. I get it, trying to bring the excitement to an already exciting game. It's a nickname that Mahomes has supposedly had going all the way back to like high school. I don't care. I'm not calling him that. We need a better nickname for such an exciting quarterback.
Beast.
Send me your suggestions. Send at Tay Stern your suggestions. We got to find a better nickname for Patrick Mahomes if he's going to keep playing this well.
Post Mahomes!
Oh! That's it! That's it!
See you guys tomorrow, 5:30
Perfect!
Central.
Sweep the leg.
Post Mahomes.
That's perfect.